Hello, me again. What a beautiful day we've been having. 2 consecutive days in a row where the sun is out, the sky is blue. There's a bit of an east wind, 0 degrees this morning. So that's 32 Fahrenheit, isn't it? Freezing. Not very nice at all first thing, but now under our patio roof, 20C. So what's that? Double it and add 30, that's 40, 70-ish. It's only approximate doing it that way. That's not bad, 70F. I've been sitting in the sun for an hour, sleeves rolled up, getting brown. Well, I don't know about brown, but a bit of vitamin D, which is rather nice. What I've decided to do is when I get 5, 10, 15 minutes here and there, bit of a break. For example, now I'm having a cup of tea, just had lunch. There's a lot going on this afternoon. So I thought I'd pop in just with a little recording to update you, a sort of synopsis of what's going on, really. I just looked back. Have you got the NHS app on your phone? You won't have outside Britain, of course. I've just looked back on my NHS app at my health record, and it goes back to 1955 when I was 4 years old. And it says rheumatic fever. Significant. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Significant. It's not a minor thing. So that was quite interesting. When I was 4 years old, I had rheumatic fever. They reckon it leaves you with a weak heart. Now, my heart isn't weak. I've had ECGs, I've had it looked at, well, not looked at, you can't look at it, tested, stuff like that. Over the years, different things, always check your heart, check your blood pressure, everything's fine. So I'm now wondering whether I did actually have rheumatic fever back then. Probably not. Back in those days, if kids had aches and pains, I used to get an ache behind my knees. Oh, it's growing pains, some sort of rheumatic growing pain thing. One thing I did have that's not on the record, I was in the countryside. As you know, I'm always in the woods. I was about 5 years old, and I saw some nice berries, some nice sort of deep purple berries. I thought they looked nice. So I tried some. Not a good idea. It was deadly nightshade. Stone the crows. It was awful. Oh, it tasted good. I do remember it. Don't try it. Don't try this at home. Deadly nightshade berries are poisonous. They'll kill you. Luckily, I must have only had one or two, but I do remember being very ill. And I remember my mum telling me years later it was deadly nightshade. So be careful. Don't go around the woods and the countryside eating berries from trees or bushes and things. Deadly nightshade. I don't know. Whatever next. Actually, the berries are almost black, if I remember right. I haven't seen deadly nightshade for a while. I don't really want to. I think they're very, very deep purple, if not black. I believe inside, if you squash them, that is sort of purpley colour. This is the trouble, isn't it, with children and sweets. You get things like little coloured sweets, and they think that's nice. They're out walking in the countryside. Oh, look, there's some sweets on that bush. I'll eat those. This is very young kids, of course. I don't know who I was with on my little trip to the countryside to try and kill myself. I wasn't trying to kill myself. I must have been with someone at, 5 years old-ish. I wouldn't have gone off on my own. So I don't know who I was with. I mean, with children, you've only got to look away for a second. And what you doing? Oh, I've just eaten those berries from that bush. Oh, have you? Right, we better take you to hospital. You've only got to look away for a split second, haven't you? Especially with children, if you're in a main road, you're walking along with them, they can see something on the other side of the road and they've gone straight across the main road. I used to have reins. Do you remember reins when you were a kid? Back in the 50s, most of us kids had reins, bit like a horse. So I do remember these reins. It was like a leather straps basically around my chest, and my mum would hold on to the reins so I couldn't run, or if I was going to trip and fall over, she could lift the reins up, lift my whole body up, because I was only very light in those days. I'm somewhat heavier now. Anyway, that was a good idea, having the reins, because children do run off, don't they? That probably would have stopped me eating berries, but there again, you can't have a child on reins in the woods, can you? Going back to my health record on my iPhone, in 1965, I think it was in June, 18th of June, was it? In June, anyway, in 65, it says ruptured liver. I ruptured my liver, as you do, fell off my bike. I think I've told you all that before, so I won't go into that, but I fell off my bike, ruptured my liver, and it got sewn up and stuff. They sewed my liver up. then sewed my stomach up. I got this huge scar. Because in those days, you didn't have sort of keyhole surgery and minor things. It was a massive scar. Right, his liver's ruptured. Open him up, big knife. Whole stomach. I won't go into that. You might be having your dinner. I remember going over to the woods. I was at home convalescing and I was getting a lot better. I was better really. And I walked over to the woods. It was the summertime, so that was June, July, August, probably something like August, September. And I sat on this log in a clearing and it was lovely. Just sitting on this log by myself, no other kids with me. I sat on the log. The sun was shining just in this clearing. The birds were singing and it was so, I don't know, just peaceful and tranquil. I just sat there and just soaked up the, what's that word, ambience, the kind of feeling of it all, the warmth of the sun and the birds singing. And, I sat there for about 3 hours. I do remember that because I had a watch back then, not that I cared what the time was. And I remember looking at my watch and I thought, cripes, I've been sitting here for 3 hours. And I went over there. I didn't tell anyone. I just said, I'm popping out for a walk. And I went over there quite a lot that year. That was, when was that? I said 65, wasn't it? I went over there a lot just to sit there on my own. I felt that it was somehow aiding my healing, my liver healing up. Perhaps it did, I don't know. Perhaps it was psychological. I'd set my mind that this was helping my liver to heal, so perhaps it did, I don't know. But it was lovely. I don't know why I'm talking about that really. I'm just looking back through this health record, various other things. Never broken any bones in my body except one in my wrist. I tripped over a curb. Daft thing to do. Put my hand down and broke this bone in my wrist. That's the only bone I've ever broken. I've actually survived quite well thinking about it. I'm 74 this year. And I had a parathyroid removed. You've got 4 of those, not thyroid. These are parathyroids in your neck. I had one of those removed at St Thomas's Hospital. That's in my notes. It's funny looking back through the notes. Something that's not in my notes because I wasn't damaged. My mum told me about it. When I was 7, we were going over to the shops and I, for some reason, dashed out into the road. As I was saying, kids do that. Even at 7 years old, I don't know why I would have done that. Apparently in front of this milk float. I just ran out in front of him. I don't know why. He swerved and the milk float, I don't think it actually went over onto its side, but a load of the milk crates came off the float and the bottles smashed in the road. So I was trying to kill myself again. I don't know what was the matter with me. I don't know why I did that. I don't know what the milkman said. I don't suppose he was too amused. I don't remember that, funnily enough. You'd think that would stick in my mind, but I don't remember that at all. My mum told me about it, so presumably it's true. Perhaps I was trying to kill the milkman because they gave me warm milk when I was at the kindergarten in the early days. They gave me warm milk in the winter and it was disgusting. So perhaps I had a thing against milkmen. You never know, do you, what goes on in children's minds. Funnily enough, when I was in my 20s, a very good friend of mine was a milkman. I didn't try and kill him. Well, he was bigger than me for a start. Okay, that'll do for a minute. Just a little, 7-8 minutes recording. The idea being I'll add a bit more as and when I get a minute and hopefully it'll build up into a decent episode for you to listen to. Right, I'm back again after a break. I'm not going to say too much about my mother, but she's now in hospital and we popped in to see her. She's in A&E, accident and emergency, because there are no beds in the wards. This is the National Health Service, the NHS, which if you're in Britain, obviously you know all about, but if you're abroad, you may or may not know about our National Health Service. Very good, very good. I can't knock them at all, but there are no beds in the wards. So she's in A&E, on a bed in a cubicle. She's being extremely well looked after. I'm not going to go into that. What I wanted to say more was I went in there to visit her, only one at a time allowed in. They are so busy in there, I felt in the way. There's nurses and doctors rushing about. There's emergencies obviously going on. I was so impressed. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been to A&E. No, I don't think I have. I can't remember. But I've never been actually in the back room, so to speak. When you go into A&E, there are cubicles, but then if you go further through, there are kind of holding beds, something like that, before going on to what they call the emergency floor. and they are holding beds for when you eventually get a bed on one of the hospital wards. But that's all by the by. I just wanted to say that I was so impressed. I was moved. Honestly, I really was moved. I stood there watching all these people rushing about doing, it was just incredible, looking after patients. Absolutely amazing. Hats off to all the doctors, nurses and staff, not only at A&E but the whole hospital. The nurses in particular do a lot of work. I know the doctors do a lot of work, but it's the nurses that are doing the groundwork. Anyway, enough of that. Hats off to all of you. If anyone is listening who works for the NHS or has been, they've saved my life. Saved my life when I ripped my liver. Then I had the parathyroid out, as I told you. I don't think, was that life-threatening? I don't know. It was weird, the effects of that. Anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to say thank you to all the NHS staff for looking after my mum. Apparently now she's been moved out of there onto the emergency floor. It's now the next day. Where are we? Is it Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Yeah, my mum is now in a ward. She's actually got a bed in a ward, so progress. They got 500 beds approximately at Worthing Hospital. How about that? 500 beds. When I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor. Not a child, early teens. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go into electronics. But for some reason, I thought about being a doctor. I couldn't, though. Academically, forget it. I was the dunce of the class at school. I couldn't. No. Academic stuff and me just don't go together. I can't do it. Oh, happy days. Oh, they weren't happy days at school. I won't go into that. But I was interested in medical things, always have been. Medical stuff. I like to know how things work in the body, what's going on. Well, it does this, yeah, but why? It's all very interesting. And of course, now we've got Trisha's sister, who is a nurse. She worked for 15 years in A&E. Our niece is a senior something nurse, paediatrics. And daughter number 2 was into nursing for many years. So I am surrounded by medical people, which is good. If I have any problems. Actually, I joke with Trisha's sister. I say, I've got a bit of trouble. I wonder whether you could have a look. No, it's a joke. I don't have trouble, but I joke with her. She says, no, I'm not doing that. Oh, dear. I shouldn't do that, really. I tried to wind her up. She won't be wound up and she won't be shocked. 15 years working in A&E. Nothing shocks her, believe me. I've tried everything. Nothing shocks her. I've only popped in briefly because I thought I'd give you a quick catch up on Thursday. We're off to the nursing home now to collect my mum's stuff because she's moved out of there. She's not going back there, apparently. So we've got to go and collect her bits. We've only just moved her in. Now we're moving her out. She hasn't got a lot there, a couple of pictures, her clock and bits and pieces. She's got a couple of pot plants. What's one of the mother-in-law's tongue? That's an interesting name, isn't it? Mother-in-law's tongue. Better be careful in case there are any mother-in-laws listening. Well, there will be. There's bound to be. So you can see why I'm recording the podcast in bits and pieces when I get sort of 5 or 15 minutes break. So we're off to do that now. Then we're doing, what are we going? We're doing the hospital visit later. Then we've got to go, Trish went to Littlehampton. Yes, I won't list what we've got to do. But on a brighter note, the sun is shining. There's a little breeze from the west. And it's about 10 centigrade out there, which is 50-ish Fahrenheit. So at least the sun is shining. Don't forget, if you want to email me, raiserants@protonmail.com. Be good to hear from you. Have you had any medical experiences? There's a topic. Any medical, I suppose we don't want bad experiences. I don't mean, to pry into your sort of intimate medical history. Actually, why not? That'd be interesting. No. What am I saying? I'm inciting medical history revelations. Any experiences you may have had medically that you think might be interesting or a laugh to share with other people. I don't know what I'm talking about. raiserants@protonmail.com. I shall see you in a minute. I don't know about a minute. It's the next day. It is the 1st of March today. Excellent. At last it's here. March is here. And at the end of this month, the clocks spring forward. They fall back, don't they, in the autumn or in the fall, and they spring forward. So we'll have lighter evenings, lighter mornings, and some heat. I've actually been out in the sunshine for about an hour, trying to get some vitamin D, try to get a little bit tanned so I look good. Well, I look good anyway, you know that, don't you? Shirt sleeves rolled up, beautiful, sitting out there. I actually got too hot. Would you believe it? Too hot. Under our patio roof is a bit of a sun trap. That's why it was 20 degrees and too hot. As Tricia said, the minute the sun comes out, you start moaning you're too hot. You've been moaning it's too cold all winter. I don't know. Us Brits and the weather. It's been freezing at night, though. Really freezing. But that's what happens, doesn't it, when there are no clouds. Cold at night, really nice in the daytime. We wanted to buy a hot water boiler thing. I don't know what it's called. Is it a 1 cup thing? You put your cup under it, press the button, and the boiling water comes out. It holds something like 4 litres. This is the third one we've had. We just bought a new one because they don't seem to last long. That could be a sign we're drinking too much tea. I don't know. So we went online and had a look. Now, there's a big shop near us, a big store, a chain store, where they sell all this stuff. I won't mention the name. So what we thought we'd do is have a look online, then go up there and buy one. So Trish found one. Look at that, she said. Perfect, just what we want. Checked whether it's in stock. Not available in the shop. We don't stock this in the shop. You have to buy it online. Oh, OK. We wanted to pop up to the shop and buy one. Look at this one, she said. This is even better. That'll do us. Look, we'll have that one. We don't keep this in the shop. It's only available online. What is the point of having a shop where you don't stock anything? You've got to buy it online. I thought they were trying to get people back to the high street and go to local stores to buy things. Well, what's the point? Whatever you want in their shop, you have to buy it online. I don't know. Anyway, we bought one from somewhere else in the end, so their loss, not ours. Now, what's been happening? We went to our club last night and we won on the music quiz bingo thing. I won, actually, on my card, £20. That'll do. Goes towards the drinks. Do you know, that's the first time we've been out since a month, the last music quiz. We just don't get out anymore. There's, as I keep saying, there's stuff going on everywhere, all over the place. I'm going to keep this one short today because we've got, where are we now? It's 2:30 Saturday. We've got a lot to do. We've got to go out and do this and do that. Not to worry about all that. We've had a few of the family round for lunch, which was rather nice. We're going to see my mum tomorrow. She's now been moved again into a hospice, is it? So we're going to go and see her tomorrow. Never ending. There's always, people have just been round. What's that for? I can't remember. Friends of ours popped round to pick up something. There's someone else coming round later on this evening. I forget who and why. I can't keep up with it all. I do make notes, but it's easier to say to Trish, who's that? Who's coming round? When? OK. Just tell you a quick joke. I don't know whether you like jokes. I don't normally tell jokes. Went to the doctor and I said, I think my wife's deaf. And he said, well, how deaf? I said, I have no idea. He said, well, look, when you get home, call her from about 20 feet away. See whether she responds. If not, 15 feet away. So I did that. I got home, about 20 feet away. What's for dinner? No response. Nothing. 15 feet away. What's for dinner? No response. OK, 10 feet away. What's for dinner? Absolutely no response at all. 5 feet away. What's for dinner? I've told you 3 times, she said. Are you deaf? Happy days. I don't know. Silly jokes. I like silly jokes. I can never remember jokes. I have to write them down. Then I lose a bit of paper. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. I know it's only a short one this time. Better than nothing, though. There was no midweek message on Wednesday, was there? We were just so busy with everything. Didn't get 5 minutes to breathe, let alone anything else. Hopefully I will see you on Wednesday. I might pop in with a brief update to tell you what's been going on. But in the meantime, look after yourselves. Raise rants at protonmail.com if you want to email me. Be good, be bad, don't get caught, and I shall hopefully have a quick chat on Wednesday. Won't promise though. Thanks for listening as always. Take care. Bye-bye for now.